You tell someone that your relationship is falling apart. For a fraction of a second, something changes in their face. It is not sympathy, it is not surprise. It looks almost like satisfaction. Then it disappears. Their eyebrows tighten. Their voice becomes softer. They tell you how sorry they are. They may even offer advice, but something about their reaction feels wrong. Later, you share good news, a promotion, a new relationship, a personal victory. This time, their energy changes again. The warmth leaves their voice. They minimize what happened. They change the subject. They remind you of everything that could still go wrong. Strangely, this person appeared more comfortable with your suffering than with your success. You might think you imagined it, but human beings are not always disturbed by another person's pain. Sometimes they are secretly relieved by it. Sometimes they feel vindicated, and sometimes, somewhere inside the brain, another person's downfall is processed like a reward. Psychology has a name for this uncomfortable emotion: Schadenfreude, pleasure derived from another person's misfortune. It does not automatically make someone evil. Almost every human being may experience a brief version of it. But when envy, humiliation, competition, and resentment are allowed to grow, this hidden pleasure can become something darker. A person may stop merely enjoying your suffering. They may begin needing it, and eventually they may help create it. Welcome to Mind Trap. Today, we are entering one of the least honest rooms inside the human mind, the place where another person's pain can feel like personal pleasure. The emotion. People refuse to admit the word Schadenfreude comes from two German words: Schaden, meaning harm or damage, and Freude, meaning joy, literally harm joy. English adopted the German term partly because it had no commonly used single word that captured the emotion precisely. But the feeling itself is far older than the language used to describe it. Around the 4th century BCE, Aristotle discussed epikairakakia, taking pleasure in another person's bad fortune. He distinguished it from moral indignation and ordinary envy. Ancient thinkers already understood something modern society still struggles to admit. Human beings do not respond to suffering based only on how painful it is. We also ask, who is suffering? Do we like them? Do we envy them? Are they part of our group? Do we think they deserve it? And what does their fall mean for our own position? The answers influence whether we feel compassion, indifference, or pleasure. The Book of Proverbs warned against allowing the heart to rejoice when an enemy falls. Ancient Greek philosophy examined it. Roman spectacles transformed public suffering into entertainment. Across history, societies have gathered to witness humiliation, punishment, and defeat. The technology changed. The instinct did not. Today, people gather beneath viral videos, celebrity scandals, public breakups, and career collapses. They may describe their reaction as curiosity or justice, but sometimes the attraction is more primitive. They are watching someone fall, and for a moment, the fall makes them feel taller. Your pain changes the social distance. Imagine two people standing on different steps of an invisible staircase. One believes the other is more attractive, successful, respected, or loved. That comparison produces psychological discomfort. The successful person has not necessarily done anything wrong. Their existence simply reminds the observer of what they believe they lack. Then the successful person experiences a failure. They lose their job, their marriage collapses, their reputation is damaged. Suddenly, the distance between them feels smaller. Nothing improved in the observer's life. They did not become more successful, attractive, or secure, but the person above them moved downward. The comparison changed. This is one reason another person's suffering can produce relief. The observer's position improves, not absolutely, but relatively. Social psychologist Leon Festinger proposed social comparison theory in 1954. Human beings evaluate themselves partly by comparing their opinions and abilities with those of others. Comparison can inspire growth, but when self-worth is fragile, comparison becomes threatening. Instead of asking, "What can I learn from this person?" the mind asks, "What does their success say about me?" If their success becomes evidence of your failure, their failure can begin to feel like evidence of your worth. That is the trap. You no longer need to rise. You only need them to fall. What the brain revealed. In a widely discussed 2009 study, neuroscientist Hidehiko Takahashi and colleagues examined envy and Schadenfreude using functional magnetic resonance imaging. Participants read scenarios involving people who possess different levels of success and advantage. When participants encountered an enviable person, especially someone whose advantages were relevant to their own identity, regions associated with conflict and painful social emotion showed stronger activity. Then the enviable person experienced misfortune. Activity appeared in the ventral striatum, a region involved in reward processing. In simple terms, the fall of an envied person was not processed only as information. It carried a rewarding quality. The researchers also found a relationship between the intensity of envy and the reward response to the envied person's misfortune. The stronger the envy, the stronger the reported Schadenfreude tended to be. Takahashi et al. Science, 2009. This does not mean the brain has one isolated evil pleasure center. Brain regions perform multiple functions, and an image from an fMRI scanner cannot reveal someone's entire moral character. But the finding exposes something important. Envy can transform another person's pain into psychological relief. Not because your life became better, because the comparison became less painful. 3 doors into Schadenfreude. Not all pleasure at suffering comes from the same place. Researchers have proposed that Schadenfreude can be understood through 3 major motivational routes: rivalry, perceived justice, and aggression. Each begins differently, but they can lead to the same emotional destination: rivalry. Rivalry turns life into a scoreboard. Your colleague's promotion becomes your defeat. Your friend's marriage becomes evidence that you are behind. Your sibling's financial success threatens your place inside the family. In this mindset, another person's happiness is not neutral. It reduces your relative status. The rival does not necessarily want everything you possess. They want proof that they are not beneath you. That is why some people become unusually interested when your life begins to collapse. They ask for details. They return to the subject. They repeat the story to others. Your pain gives them something comparison denied them, a sense of superiority. This is especially dangerous when rivalry hides inside friendship. An open enemy has no reason to pretend. A secret rival does. They may stay close enough to monitor your progress while privately resenting every step you take. When you suffer, their resentment temporarily becomes peace. Perceived justice. The second door is deservingness. People experience stronger Schadenfreude when they believe the victim deserved what happened. This is why the downfall of an arrogant, corrupt, or dishonest person can feel satisfying. The pleasure may not come from suffering itself. It may come from seeing a broken moral balance apparently restored. Research by Wilco van Dijk and colleagues found that perceived deservingness plays an important role in Schadenfreude. When a misfortune appears deserved, pleasure becomes easier to justify. Van Dijk et al. Cognition and emotion. This mechanism is not automatically malicious. Feeling relieved when a dangerous person loses power is different from enjoying an innocent person's pain. But perceived justice contains a serious weakness. Human beings are extremely talented at inventing reasons why someone deserved to suffer. She became too proud. He thought he was better than us. They should have expected this. I warned them. These statements create moral permission. Once the mind labels suffering as deserved, empathy becomes optional. The observer can enjoy the event while continuing to see themselves as a good person. Aggression and group identity. The third door opens when another person stops being seen as a full individual and becomes merely a member of an opposing group. Us against them, our family against theirs, our political side against theirs, our religion, race, class, nation, company, or team against the enemy. Neuroscientist Mina Tikara and psychologist Susan Fiske studied how stereotypes and group rivalry shape emotional responses to misfortune. In one line of research involving baseball rivals, supporters responded not only to their own team's success, but also to a rival's failure. Reported pleasure at the rival's pain was also connected to willingness to engage in harmful behavior toward rival supporters. Tikara, Botvinnik, and Fiske, Psychological Science. This matters because Schadenfreude is not always passive. Under certain conditions, the emotional reward of another group's pain can weaken the barrier against causing further harm. A person begins by laughing at humiliation, then they share it, then they defend it. Eventually, they may participate in it. The victim is no longer perceived as a complete human being with fear, dignity, and a private life. They become a symbol, and people can justify doing terrible things to symbols. When suffering becomes entertainment. History repeatedly shows how personal misfortune can become collective theater. Ancient Roman arenas placed violence before enormous crowds. Public executions in later societies were arranged as spectacles. Humiliation was not hidden, it was staged. The crowd did not need a personal relationship with the condemned individual. A story was enough. Criminal, enemy, traitor, outsider. Once the label had been accepted, suffering could be watched as entertainment or justice. Modern society often considers itself more civilized, yet public humiliation remains extraordinarily profitable. A person makes a mistake. A short clip spreads without context. Millions arrive. Some demand accountability. Others make jokes, create edited videos, search for family members, and celebrate every new loss the target experiences. Accountability asks for proportion, evidence, and correction. A punishment crowd asks for more suffering. These are not the same thing. The digital crowd also provides something physical crowds could not: psychological distance. People do not see the target breathing, trembling, or returning home after the spectacle. They see an image, a username, a character inside a public story. Distance weakens empathy. Repetition weakens it further. Soon, a real person's collapse becomes content consumed between advertisements. The person who needs you to fail. Some people experience a brief, unwanted spark of satisfaction when a rival fails. They recognize it, feel uncomfortable, and move on. That is human imperfection. The more dangerous pattern appears when someone repeatedly depends on your suffering to regulate their self-esteem. They cannot feel secure unless you feel uncertain. They cannot feel intelligent unless you appear foolish. They cannot feel successful unless your progress stops. This person may not attack openly. Instead, they use small psychological weapons. They discourage you immediately before an important decision. They remind you of old failures when you begin rebuilding confidence. They offer advice that quietly leads you away from opportunities. They expose private information while pretending it happened accidentally. They praise you in public but undermine you in private. And when the consequences arrive, they become your most attentive audience. Sometimes they even return as the comforter. This creates a disturbing dynamic. The same person who weakened you now receives emotional importance by helping you survive the damage. They need the wound because the wound creates their role. This does not mean every unhelpful friend or imperfect relative is secretly engineering your destruction. Suspicion without evidence can damage healthy relationships. The pattern matters more than a single incident. Ask what consistently happens when you grow. Do they become colder? Do they turn your achievements into jokes? Do they search for flaws in every success? Do they become unusually energetic when discussing your failures? Do you leave conversations feeling smaller, confused, or ashamed? One strange reaction proves little. A repeated pattern reveals much more. Why close people can feel it most strongly. We usually imagine envy coming from strangers, but comparison is strongest when the other person feels similar to us. A billionaire living on another continent may feel psychologically distant. A colleague hired on the same day is not. A famous actor may not threaten your identity. A sibling who grew up in the same house might. Similarity makes comparison personal. If two people began in roughly the same place, one person's progress can feel like a verdict on the other's choices. This helps explain why success sometimes creates tension inside families and friendships. Your growth changes more than your circumstances. It changes the old relationship. Perhaps you were the dependent one, the struggling one, the person everyone advised. When you become stable, confident, or successful, those roles collapse. Healthy people adjust. They allow you to evolve. Controlling or deeply insecure people may experience your growth as a loss of power. They do not necessarily miss the old you. They miss the position they occupied above the old you. Your setback restores the hierarchy. That is why their sympathy can feel strangely comfortable. You are suffering again. But to them, the world has returned to its correct order. Schadenfreude is not sadism. An important distinction must be made. Schadenfreude is pleasure at witnessing or learning about another person's misfortune. Sadism involves pleasure connected more directly to inflicting, controlling, or observing suffering itself. A person can experience Schadenfreude without causing the event. For example, they may hear that an arrogant rival lost a competition and feel satisfied. A sadistic pattern goes further. The pain itself becomes appealing, and the person may deliberately produce or prolong it. The difference is morally important. One is an emotion, which may arrive automatically. The other can become a pattern of intention and behavior. You are not defined by every emotion that appears inside you. You are defined more clearly by what you feed, justify, and choose to do with it. The first flash of satisfaction may be involuntary. Mocking the victim is a choice. Spreading their humiliation is a choice. Sabotaging their recovery is a choice. The emotion may explain the behavior. It does not excuse it. The mask of false concern. Because enjoying suffering is socially unacceptable, people rarely admit it directly. It often wears a mask. I'm only being honest. I knew this would happen. I'm worried about them. People need to know the truth. I don't enjoy saying this, but the words may sound responsible while the behavior reveals excitement. False concern repeatedly returns to the humiliating detail. It shares private suffering with people who cannot help. It exaggerates the disaster. It resists any information suggesting the victim is recovering. Real concern protects dignity. Hidden pleasure turns pain into a story. Pay attention not only to what someone says, but to what their attention appears to seek. Are they looking for a way to help, or are they looking for a better view? What your suffering reveals. Suffering has a brutal way of exposing relationship structures that success can hide. When you are doing well, admiration and resentment can wear the same smile. Both people may congratulate you. Both may stand beside you. But difficulty separates them. The person who loves you wants your dignity preserved even when you fail. The person who envies you wants your failure remembered even after you recover. One helps you understand what happened. The other turns what happened into your identity. One reminds you that you are more than your worst moment. The other quietly ensures that your worst moment follows you into every room. This is why painful seasons sometimes reveal information that comfortable seasons conceal. Not everyone asking about your wound wants it healed. Some simply want confirmation that it still hurts. How to respond without becoming paranoid? The answer is not to treat every person as a hidden enemy. That would allow fear to damage what envy could not. Instead, develop disciplined observation. Share important plans selectively. Watch how people respond to both your success and your suffering. Look for consistency over time. Do not confront someone based only on a facial expression or intuition. Human reactions are complicated, and anxiety can misinterpret awkwardness as hostility. Judge patterns supported by behavior. If someone repeatedly minimizes your progress, circulates your private pain, encourages destructive choices, or seems invested in keeping you powerless, reduce their access. You do not need to prove what exists inside their mind. You only need to respond to what their behavior repeatedly produces inside your life. Most importantly, do not build your identity around defeating envious people. If your entire success becomes revenge, they still control the direction of your life. Build because your life deserves construction. Heal because the wound deserves closure. Move forward because remaining trapped is too expensive. The uncomfortable mirror. There is one final truth. This emotion does not live only in other people. It lives in some form within nearly all of us. Perhaps you felt relieved when the perfect couple separated. Perhaps you smiled when an arrogant colleague made a mistake. Perhaps someone's failure made your own life feel less disappointing. The honest response is not denial. It is examination. What did their suffering give you? A feeling of justice, relief from comparison, proof that nobody's life is perfect, permission to stop feeling inferior? Schadenfreude can function like a psychological diagnostic tool. It points toward the wound underneath the pleasure. If you secretly celebrate another person's failure, ask what their success was threatening inside you. Their fall will not heal that wound. It will only silence it temporarily. Someone else becoming smaller cannot make you whole. Human nature is not revealed only by the emotions we proudly display. It is also revealed by the emotions we hide. Envy is painful. Comparison is powerful. Rivalry can turn another person's life into a scoreboard. Group identity can make strangers feel like enemies. And perceived justice can give cruelty a respectable name. But psychology is not destiny. The brain may generate an emotion without asking permission. Character begins in what happens next. You can notice envy without feeding it. You can witness failure without turning it into entertainment. You can demand accountability without demanding humiliation. You can encounter another person's success without interpreting it as evidence of your own worthlessness. And you can refuse to build your confidence from someone else's collapse. Perhaps that is the real test of emotional maturity, not whether darkness ever appears inside us, but whether we give it a home. The next time someone suffers, watch the crowd. Some will come to help. Some will come to judge. Some will come because suffering has become entertainment. And a few will arrive wearing the face of concern, while privately hoping the wound never closes. But also, watch yourself. Because the most dangerous human impulses are not always found inside obvious monsters. Sometimes they appear quietly inside ordinary people for less than a second, as a smile that disappears too quickly. This is mind trap, where we do not merely study what people show us, We investigate what the human mind tries to hide,